Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Home Podcast FHP, episode 19.
What?
We
19 episodes.
slowly. We're getting through them. Today we will be looking back at the World Cup results from the past week and looking ahead to the final round of group games. We apologise for a lack of podcast on Friday. A lot of us were busy and weren't able to make it happen, but we're here today and that's all that matters. We will get started and we'll go through the main results from Wednesday to Friday last week before we get into reviewing the games from Friday onwards. Let me just get the results up. We're going all the way back to last Wednesday. Wednesday. Okay, so we started with Croatia 0, Morocco 0. I think that was the first sign that Morocco were going to cause problems for teams, and the first sign that they were really shocking teams and making life difficult for teams, and that they could go far in this competition. Wednesday the 23rd. And then we had another shock in Germany 1, Japan 2, which I think shocked a lot of people. And then Spain-Costa Rica, Spain beat Costa Rica 7-0. Belgium beat Canada 1-0 then that night. Thursday saw Switzerland beat Cameroon 1-0 and Uruguay draw 0-0 with South Korea. Portugal beat Ghana in a thriller 3-2, with Brazil defeating Serbia 2-0 thanks to 2 goals from Richarlison. That brings us on to Friday, and 10-man Wales lost 2-0 to Iran in another shock. Senegal beat Qatar 3-1, and the Netherlands and Ecuador drew 1-1, and the late game saw England draw 0-0 with the USA. That brings us on to Saturday, and the first game of Saturday was Tunisia 0, Australia 1. I'm not sure if anybody really has any thoughts on this.
I think quickly just with this match, I was shocked. Like I thought Australia really looked bad against France, and Tunisia looked pretty good against us. So I was surprised in Australia winning this, but Australia is not a bad team, and they showed that.
Yeah, I don't think Tunisia. I'm sorry to say this. This World Cup is so unpredictable. It's the weirdest World Cup I've ever seen in my whole life. But Tunisia, I mean, they're one of the. I wouldn't say. I think they're down there at the bottom with the teams that doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell unless some odd miracle happens. But all of these groups are so congested now because of the results that we're going to talk about now. So anything can happen. Australia getting a goal in, because a lot of people were saying, oh, if Australia even gets a corner, they'd be surprised in games. So the fact that Australia got a goal in and secured 3 points means they are in a great position right now they can actually qualify in the group, depending on what they're going to do tonight. Yeah, that's good. This is going to be interesting. I feel for Tunisia, but I do feel between the two teams, Australia played the better game, so they deserve the win.
Fair enough. Obviously, Tunisia drew 0-0 with Denmark in their first game. Sorry to remind you of that pain, Andreas.
It's okay.
Yeah, they did draw 0-0, so maybe a little bit of a surprise that they couldn't do something against Australia. Anyway, we'll move on. And Saudi Arabia played against Poland, drew 0-0. They couldn't repeat their heroics that they produced against Argentina.
It was 2-0.
2-0, yeah, sorry, my bad. 2-0. Saudi Arabia couldn't repeat the heroics that they did against Argentina, and it was kind of back to business as usual Here,
Yeah.
Lewandowski assist, I believe, and then a Lewandowski goal. Warren, thoughts on this one?
I don't think they couldn't recreate the magic that they got against Argentina. They actually gave Poland a run for their money. They just couldn't get the backside of the goal. That's just that last part of the game just didn't come to fruition for them. And Poland, I guess they had a score to settle. They wanted to prove themselves. And Lewandowski, obviously, in between the assists in the goals, and suddenly Poland is on top of the group. So it's this is a weird. I've been saying it the whole time. I've been watching it. The results shock me every time I go into the chat and somebody gives me an update. I'm like, what is going on? So glad for Poland that they won. I do think that it would be weird if they weren't in the competition, if they were downright out. So but it sucks that Saudi Arabia couldn't get they couldn't close the deal, if you would say it. But I did give them a run for their money, so it's going to be interesting this last couple of matches.
Yeah, I think this group is really, really interesting. Saudi Arabia that really started great with that win against Argentina, and they still have chances to move on. But like if they had won this match, they would have been almost certain to move on. So I can assume that it really is frustrating for Saudi Arabia. But Poland is of course a great team, and before the World Cup started, I would have been confident that Poland would have won this. But then I saw the Saudi Arabia versus Argentina, and I started seeing a lot of potential in Saudi Arabia. But like Poland is a really, really strong team, and they showed this here. Yeah, this is just a really, really open group, and everyone can move on, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to just say that. I was going to say that it's really, really open.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody is on 3 points. Let me just have a quick look. I think Argentina are on 3, Poland are on 4, Mexico on 0. Just getting the group up here in front of me. Poland are currently top of the group on 4 points. Argentina and Saudi Arabia have 3 points each, and Mexico have 1 point. So anything can still happen in this group. The last couple of fixtures are obviously Saudi Arabia versus Mexico and Argentina, Poland. So it's still anybody's game. Even Mexico can qualify if they beat Saudi Arabia and results go their way. There's not a draw in the final game between Argentina and Poland. So it's anybody's game, literally. It's going to make for an interesting finish, but we'll talk more about that later. The next game, Saturday evening, France beating Denmark 2-1. Andreas was so confident Denmark were going to win, but France really showed their mettle, and I think, and there was a brilliant goal from Kylian Mbappe in this one.
2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals. Yeah, his second goal was brilliant though.
Magnificent. Yes.
Like,
Sorry,
I don't know how the fuck he had that. How the hell he had that spaced and curled it in? It was just one of those wonder goals. But I think
Kylian. I think Kylian
got the win. To be honest.
Yes, Kylian Mbappe is I mean, there is no words for that man. But the things that he can do with his feet and the spaces, like you said, the spaces he found was. I'm so sorry, Andreas. I'm really sorry. I don't mean to say, but France deserved that win, like through and through. I don't know what's happening with Denmark in this tournament. They just haven't had the chance to get things together for themselves. And it's really going to be important for them to win this last match because it's like do or die, and it's going to be sad to see all these great stars not be in the World Cup anymore. So, but I think France has the better run. They've got the better fixtures. So, and they really secured themselves. But like, I don't think Denmark stood a chance. So, I mean, Kasper Schmeichel couldn't even stop Mbappe, so that says a lot.
I think I mean France was the better team. Like, I'm not going to argue with that. France played the better match, but I think Warren is really spot on with the like what is going on with Denmark, because I don't think we are playing at all to our potential. And like, of course, like I get it. most people expected France to win, and obviously so. But like the reality is that we have beaten them 2 times. The reality is that we have been better than them. So it was not unrealistic beating them. But we are just not like, if you can't beat Tunisia, how in the world are you supposed to go on and beat France? And that is the reality. We are not where we are supposed to be right now. And don't know what's going on. Like, I know there's a lot of injuries right now in the team. Delaney is out. Skov Olsen is out. Skov Olsen is a huge part of the creative in the offense. Defensively, I don't think it's going that well. Simon Kjær was also out, our captain. So like, there's just really a lot of flaws in our team right now, and injuries is one thing, but like how they are playing is not good enough either. So we are like, in 2 games we have conceded 2 goals and scored 1, and that's not good enough, no matter who we have been played against. But I think no matter what, the story is that France only beat us with one goal, and to me that shows that if we had been at our best, we could have beaten them. I absolutely believe that, but we are not at our best right now, and we need to be that against Australia, because if we are not, then we are done, and no argument there. And like Schmeichel, even with them scoring 2 goals, he was one of our best players, and that just shows how bad the defense was, because he needed to do so much. So yeah, like it's not good enough, and France is a really, really strong team, and I'm surprised about them, because I thought in general France would be bad this World Cup, and so far it's not looking like that at all. So yeah, really interesting to see, and I'm not happy with our performance so far at all.
Yeah, I just think just one more thing on that fixture, that game. I just think, on Denmark in general, I just think that the game against Tunisia was the game that they had to win, just to make sure that, because just where they are, in what group they are finding themselves in, because Australia is unpredictable. So they should have just won that game against Tunisia, because I think that would have just given them the confidence for the next 2 games. So I just think that they dropped the ball and they're going to pay the price for it. So it's going to be really interesting now, this last fixture.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Then the final fixture on Saturday night was Argentina 2-0 against Mexico. A Messi special. Show what it was. And Argentina kind of getting back to their best, really, I guess. Andreas?
Yeah, like Argentina is a great team, and I expected Argentina to win this. But I think there are some problems in the team. Like, I don't know. I think they rely too much on Messi, first of all, and like, it makes sense that they do that, but it's kind of worrying in a way. But like, this is a good win, and Mexico is a really, really strong team. Like, I think Mexico is probably the team where I'm looking like, wow, they really only have 1 point, because I feel like Mexico have been playing so good both matches. So to me, it's insane that they only have one point. But yeah, Argentina is a really strong team, and Argentina is still my pick to win it all. But they need to get it together, and they need to win against Poland to really make it happen. So yeah, but Argentina is a strong team, and they deserve the win. But I think Mexico really is a fighting team as well, and it's going to be difficult now, but I still think Mexico is doing great. But yeah, Argentina really, really strong, and like, I think this is going to, like, I think the story with Argentina is that they are like, I don't think they are performing at their best at all. Like, they had so many matches where they didn't lose, and that's not quite what I'm seeing at the moment. But that's also the story with France in 2018, Spain in 2010. They didn't start great, but they ended up winning the whole World Cup. So at the end of the day, as long as you win it, it doesn't really matter how great you play, and I can see that happen with Argentina for sure.
Fair enough, Lauren.
Yes, I'm gonna disagree a little bit, just a tiny bit, with Andreas on 1 point. I don't think Argentina depended on Messi, because he wasn't the only person that got a goal in. So that that, I almost said accusation. I'm sorry. I wanted to say that statement was is a bit incorrect, a little bit. I don't like it goes with opinion, but I do think Mexico is a strong team. I do believe so, but I just don't think they've. I think a lot of people said the Portugal group is the group of death. I don't think. I think this one is the group of death because I feel like even though Saudi Arabia is in the mix here and you've got Argentina and Mexico, it's still a tough group. And but like Harry said at the top, this group is so tight, it's so close that this last games are going to actually determine who goes through. So Mexico still has a chance. I do fear that these two losses might play with their psyche a little bit going into this. But I also believe that Argentina, they had to lose against Saudi Arabia to wake them up. So maybe losing against Saudi Arabia was a good thing so that they can realize that these small teams can beat them and they need to give their A game. So did they deserve to win this one? Yes.
Yeah.
Do they depend on Messi? I beg to differ. Does Mexico still have a chance? Pretty sure they do, because it's gonna come down to the last two matches. So in this group. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Quickly, let me put it another way then. I'm not meaning like they can still score goals without Messi, absolutely. But it's more like when I see them play, I feel like they rely so much on him having the ball. He has to make these changes. He has to do all of this. And like in the match against Saudi Arabia, the only way they scored was a penalty. Messi took it, but that doesn't really matter. Like they just like, I feel like offense, they have so much talent, but I feel like they rely too much on him. And yeah, I get what you were saying, and it's not like they can still score goals without him, but the way for them to getting the goals, it's more in the play, in getting those opportunities. I feel like they rely a lot on him. But yeah.
Just to say, Mexico have yet to score a goal. They drew 0-0 with Poland and then lost 2-0 to Argentina, so they're struggling badly at the moment. They just can't seem to get anything going, really. And I mean, their attack isn't the greatest, but they have experienced players in there and should be doing better, really, in my view. And I know there was a goal from Fernandez in this one, who I believe is only 19 years of age or something. I'm just checking that. Trying to get more. Enzo Fernandez, 21 years old in his first World Cup. He plays for Benfica. He looks like he'll be a star of the future there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they have so many of them. Like Di Maria, I know he's old, but like still Martinez, like they really have, like offensively, Argentina is almost the strongest team, honestly. I feel like at least top 3.
I think Brazil are probably the strongest offensively.
Yeah. But like along of those lines, like I feel like Argentina is really up there offensively.
Yeah, fair enough. We will move on to Sunday morning, and Japan 0, Costa Rica 1. 1 shot on target from Costa Rica, 1 goal. I think that can probably considered a bit of a shock. I don't think many people would have expected that, given the way they lost so heavily to Spain and Japan beat Germany, but somehow they ended up pulling it out the bag. Warren, I know you watched this one.
Yes, and the funny thing about this game is that Costa Rica win blew this whole group open, entirely open, because it gave so many of the other teams, hope, because now there's a chance. Many of the groups that thought they had no chance, they had a chance because of this goal. But the game was it was one of those redundant games for me. I didn't really enjoy watching the game, to be honest with you. I hate games that dragged out, but a lot of these games are of this World Cup. The theme is scoring in the second half, because everything is happening in second halves nowadays. But it was shocking to see Japan not. I mean, how do you beat Germany when you can't beat Costa Rica? It just doesn't. But that's the theme of this World Cup. Everything is so unpredictable, and the goals comes from the oddest people and from the oddest angles and at the weirdest times. But it was really for me, it was a redundant game. One shot on target, one goal. If that's the case, Costa Rica deserved the win. Just shameful that Japan is now fighting for their lives in this group when they were at the top.
Yeah, they do have to play Spain in their final game, so it's going
to be tough.
I wanna know with this group in specifically, who do you guys think will move on? Like,
I think Spain will for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Spain.
Can Costa Rica beat Germany?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think Germany will be too strong for Costa Rica, and I think they will move on then.
And I think, to me, like, I don't know, I don't want to be rude against Germany fans at all, but to me, like, that's the annoying thing, because I really wanted Japan to move on of this. I think it could have been so fun, and if Japan had won this match, they would have moved on. So I can imagine it's a Japan team that's really, really frustrated, because 6 points, like, that would have been enough. But yeah, Costa Rica, Costa Rica is really a team where you're like, okay, they can lose 7 goals to Spain, but then they can go out and win this. And Costa Rica is really a team where you, like, as Warren said with Australia, like, you never know where you have Costa Rica, and they can just surprise at the most crazy moments. So yeah, really, really open group now, like every other group as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if Costa Rica beat Germany. I wouldn't be shocked. It wouldn't shock me. Because Germany, it took them how many minutes to get a goal, to get that draw the other night? So it was like, for me, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with Germany. I just think there's something is not clicking with the team this season. Havertz is not scoring. I don't know what's happening. But let's see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked if Costa Rica gives them a blow. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm sorry. I wouldn't be shocked.
Today.
Wait, hold on. I wouldn't be shocked if Costa Rica gave Germany a nosebleed. There you go. But yeah, I almost did something with it. But yeah, they blew the game open last week. I could do it again.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
They've only had one shot on target in 2 games this tournament. I think it would be a tough ask to go out and beat Germany, and I think they will probably struggle.
Well, Japan defeated Germany. I'm just saying, they're not as strong defensively as people think they are.
Yeah, I think quickly. I assume we are going to talk about Germany more, but just quickly, like, I think the crazy thing with Germany here is that everyone always talks about Germany being a big team, and they are. But I think if you compare their squad right now to the last World Cup, the World Cup before that, I think they're looking terribly bad right now compared to those other years. They still have a good squad, but I don't think Germany at all is a strong team. And if I'm not mistaken, in the world rankings, you can take them with a grain of salt, but like, I'm pretty sure Germany is right outside of top 10 in the world rankings right now. And that to me shows a lot that both Denmark and Croatia is ahead of Germany.
I just think their squad is really aged. It's really aged, and it's affecting them. They've got Havertz, they've got all these great players, but I just feel like, midfield, defensively, they're very aged. So the people in front they're not getting that service, and teams are finding ways to get past them, and that's a problem.
Yeah, and also with that, like, if you look at the young players that they do have, like, they are not on the same level as Brazil's young players, England's young players. Like, Havertz is a Chelsea player, but like, he's inconsistent. Like, that's the reality. If you compare to England's team, Brazil's team, Argentina's team, like, the young players in Germany right now are not on the level of the young players in the other teams.
I think there's question marks have to be asked as well about the lineup. Sane was on the bench. Füllkrug, I think that's how you pronounce it. Füllkrug was on the bench as well. He came on and scored, and I know Dominic Brendel in our Facebook group did say that he should have been starting. Questions should be asked about Hansi Flick's team selection and what he's trying to do.
And I also think they really need Hummels, like where is he? He's not even in
Yeah.
the team. I think that's a huge problem as well. So yeah.
We'll move on to the big shock Sunday lunchtime, which was Belgium 0, Morocco 2. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Belgium are just in a really bad place at the moment.
Yeah,
Warren?
definitely. Kevin De Bruyne said that I think he put a curse on them or something during the week when he said, "Oh, I think we're too old. We too weak to win." You don't say stuff like that, and then you go on. I'm sorry. I manifested that Morocco was gonna win. I said that Ziyech was gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I said in the initial podcast that you should look out for Morocco, and people were laughing at me.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you guys again, Morocco is a dark horse, and they can blow this whole competition open. And I fear for Belgium. I fear for them. I like, who are they facing?
Croatia
There you go.
in the last one.
And Croatia can beat them. So I don't know. I don't know so much about Belgium. Maybe Kevin De Bruyne's words will come true, and they will not win the World Cup because I think he put a curse on them. But I'm happy Morocco won because they deserved it. The way they played, they deserved to win that match.
Absolutely.
So many chances, and then the Ziyech goal got disallowed. How was that offside? Tell me how
I
that was
don't get that
offside.
either, to be honest. Like, it went straight
How do
from
you get
his free kick.
offside from a free kick? It's the stupidest thing.
If someone got a touch on it, fair enough, but no one did. It went straight in.
Exactly.
So there's no way it should be offside. And that confused me. Didn't you
Yeah,
say
so-
what was the verdict? You said you saw something that said it was the right decision. What was
No, somebody on the panel that was on, halftime, the panelists are discussing things because that happened just on the cusp of halftime. And somebody said that no, the VAR had the decision that I completely disagree. Like, I don't know what, are they watching these games with rose-colored glasses or what? I don't know. But no. That was just, that should have been 3-0 at the end of the day. And they got robbed, and just because they made that decision, that's why Belgium was lost. Because they got robbed for that first goal. So yeah, end of the day, Morocco deserved to win. Good luck, Belgium.
Andreas?
Yeah, like I'm shocked. Like Belgium is like, I don't think anyone can argue that Belgium's squad is getting older, and like that's the thing we always talk about with Belgium. Oh, they're getting older and older and all this kind of stuff. But like, I'm surprised how clear it is. Like, and you also have a problem when like such a big part of their great performance in the World Cup last time was Hazard, Lukaku, these guys. They're not really doing anything now, and at this point, like it kind of feels like De Bruyne and then the rest of the team along with him, and that's a problem because De Bruyne, I don't think he can carry that whole team, not to the final at least, or to do really well. I think they're going to beat Croatia, but that's probably me being hopeful about it because I want to see Belgium going far. I want to see them still doing how great they were in 18 because they were so amazing at the last World Cup. But yeah, it's not looking good right now, and Morocco really is the surpriser in this tournament, at least one of them. So yeah, they're doing a really, really good job, and will very likely move on now to last 16, which is also crazy. Like, we have the group with last World Cup's second place, and then Belgium that was, I guess, third place. And one of them is not moving on because Morocco of all teams are going to take their place.
Well, unless Morocco beat Canada. Oh, unless Canada beat Morocco, then.
Yeah, but as long as Morocco is getting a tie, they're moving on. So yeah.
Fair enough. That was probably a huge shock. Anyway, we'll move on. Croatia 4-1 against Canada. Canada took the lead actually in this one. Warren's prediction nearly came true that Canada would win by a goal. And yeah, look, it was their first ever World Cup goal, I believe. They're a good side. They've got a lot of good players in there, but maybe they're just not at the level needed just yet to compete against the big sides. Croatia looked tetchy at times, but kind of came through in the end and made it look easy, but it wasn't all straightforward really here. Andreas?
Yeah, Croatia. I think with Croatia it took some time. Like they had the Morocco match. Morocco is doing really well as well, so that's a part of it. But Croatia didn't look the best in that match. So I was kind of worried about, is Croatia not there anymore? Are they not on the level that they can be? But this match showed that they still are there, and Croatia is still a great team. Like the Belgium and Croatia match, that's just going to be so amazing. Like semi-final rematch from the last World Cup, likely with one of them going out. So really going to be interesting. But yeah, Croatia is looking pretty good right now, and like I guess it like I guess the story with this also is that they are facing Canada, that we don't really know how great actually are. Like Canada is not the greatest team. And again, their first ever World Cup goal. So I guess it's kind of on a like, how can you say, like they won 4-1, sure, but like it's not against a great team. So that is a part of it. But yeah, Croatia is great, and 4 goals, that's usually enough to win a match. So yeah, great for them, and not so good for Canada, which is a team that's out now. Like they can't make it. Canada is done. So yeah.
Well, I think they can still make it on goal difference.
They have no.
Oh, no, they can't. No, sorry, because Belgium or Croatia would
they can make it.
each other in the final round, and both would get 4 points. I think Belgium will end up 4 points, and Croatia already on 4
Canada can
points.
make it. They are.
Because Morocco and Croatia are both on 4 points, so yeah, they can't. Warren?
Yeah, I got excited. First minute into the game, they score, and I'm like, okay, this is good. And then I left the game. I got distracted to something. I went and did something, and I came back. I was like, what the hell is going on? There's like 2 goals going again. I was like, wop, wop, wop. What's going on? There goes my prediction. But seriously, all those things aside, happy Croatia got the groove back after the first game. So pretty much still in it, and they showed that they can score goals. They can get the ball at the back of the net. Different players can score, though. That's a good thing. Took some time for them to get into it, but yes, that's also the problem of the opposing team scoring so early, because it leaves the game still wide open. There's still time to create some stuff. But yes, it's Canada, but like all these teams must have done something well to qualify for the World Cup. So none of them are really weak teams. It's just in comparison, I guess, to those legendary teams, I guess. But interesting, yeah. So Canada, I don't know. I'm fearful for this. This World Cup is just weird because the tables are so mashed together. Oh no. Yeah, Croatia deserved to win, even though it stung a little bit.
Fair enough. Then the late game on Sunday was Spain versus Germany. Spain looked good and looked like they were going to win the game for a long period of time, and then Germany scored late in the game to equalise. I think the issue here again cropping up is that Spain are missing that attacking threat. It's all well and good against the likes of Costa Rica going and scoring 7, but against a side that has a decent defence, maybe they don't have that power to necessarily unlock defences. Alvaro Morata scored for Spain, and then Füllkrug equalised late on. Warren, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I honestly think that Spain looked a bit heavy for me. It wasn't the free-flowing Spain that we saw against Costa Rica. So we've got a point there. Germany did, block them a little bit when it comes to their passing and getting, even though they had a lot of chances, don't get me wrong, they did really well but it looked labored for me. The game felt labored for me. I do believe Germany got lucky at the end with this substitution. I think the manager got that right, putting that person in. But if you looked at the game, both teams got a goal in the second half from the bench. So saying to me that both teams, the starting lineups was the problem. And maybe that's something that they need to look at going into this final fixture. Even though I think Spain is set, they will go through. But the rest of the group is still on the bubble, I guess. So I think Germany got lucky. I really do feel they got lucky with that goal at the end. But it just showed also that Spain isn't as perfect and ideal as people think, and there is problems. And that's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, I agree. I think the interesting conversation, because I get what you're saying, Harry, with they need that goal threat, but the reality is that Morata, which is what they want to be their main goal threat, he has scored 2 goals now in 2 games. Then you can argue
from the bench.
Yeah. So that is pretty, like, he is doing what he's been told to do. But like I completely agree with it, and I think it's also just kind of like I think Spain is a really, really young team, and I think they don't quite have that mentality and confidence. So when Germany goes out and scores a goal, they don't know what to do. They are not able to get back in and have that mentality to get back into the match. And yeah, I think that's a part of it. And I also kind of think they got too confident in a way. I think they were like, okay, we got this. And then Germany goes out and scores, and then they're not able to do anything about that. And I think that's something Spain has to be worried about, because against Costa Rica, they are this creative young team that's just really, really great. But when it comes to this older teams like Germany that has more experience and stuff like that, they don't quite have that mentality and can easily get too confident and not have the mentality to come back. And I think that's what we saw here. And yeah, the Germany, like, great for them. And I agree with Warren. I think they were a little bit lucky in it. But I also just think it was Spain that just completely lost their focus in it and was just like, we already got this. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was fatigue at the end. It was just fatigue at the end, and they dropped the ball a little bit. They thought they had it in the bag, and they didn't expect Germany to score. But I do think that both of these teams, well, look, Spain is facing Canada, so I mean it's a small team again, so they might get the 7 goals again.
Japan.
I look at both sides here, and a lot of them are playing. Both sides are playing players out of position. Like, Rodri is playing centre back. Like, he's a defensive.
I think it's the lineup. I definitely think it's the lineup, and both these coaches need to think about who they're going to start, because players from the bench are scoring.
Yeah, and Asensio is starting through the middle. He's a winger, and barely plays for Real. He comes off the bench. He doesn't start. And then you look at Germany, and you've got Ilkay Gundogan in the 10. He plays in a central midfield role for Manchester City. He doesn't play in the 10. Joshua Kimmich is starting in the centre midfield when he's a right back usually.
So yeah, it's positioning, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just don't. When you have players on the bench who could do a better job. Like, I think Rodri should be starting instead of Busquets, and you could have Pau Torres as centre back. Morata should be starting because he's a recognised striker.
Yes.
And then for Germany, you have the likes of Havertz on the bench. You have Sane, Füllkrug, Götze. You have players that are capable, and they need to be playing players in the right position, because otherwise it's all a mess.
Yeah.
Both teams have a lot of questions to answer, I think, going forward, and need to look at their lineups for that final game.
Exactly.
We'll move on to Monday morning. A thriller here between two sides. I can see Warren's face.
I didn't watch this game.
I don't know if Andreas has any quick thoughts.
I think Cameroon really showed something here. I had Cameroon as the weakest of the African teams, and they really showed here that they have something. Serbia, on the other hand, I'm kind of worried about. I don't know quite what's going on with them. Like, I get the Brazil loss, that makes sense, but like, it was a team that I expected to move on quite confidently. I got them winning against Switzerland, which I thought would be what they needed just to move on, and I expected them strongly to beat Cameroon. So yeah, Serbia is surprising to me, but like as well as they're surprising to me in a bad way, Cameroon is really surprising in a good way. So like this is a two-side thing where Serbia is not as good as I expected, but Cameroon is much better than I expected. But like I still got Serbia moving on. I think they will beat Switzerland, but it's going to be really, really close now. So yeah.
Cameroon took the lead in this one, just at 29 minutes, and then Serbia scored 2 in injury time of half time to make it 2-1. And then Mitrovic came on and scored as well just after half time. So they were 3-1 down, Cameroon, and came back to get a 3-3 draw, which is a bit better play to them for that. Warren, any quick thoughts?
Yeah, aren't both of these teams at 1 point right now?
Should be. Let me check.
So I'm sure they're pretty both fighting for their life. I'm not sure what's happening with Switzerland. Isn't Switzerland also on 1 point?
Oh, they have 3 points. They beat Cameroon.
They've got 3. So they've got 3 points.
Yeah.
And then these two have 1. And who's the other team?
Brazil with 6.
Yeah,
they're already through. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's Cameroon versus Brazil in the last one, and Serbia versus Switzerland.
So that'll probably be a knockout game. Winner goes through, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
I don't see Cameroon beating Brazil, even though
I don't think so.
I don't see Brazil winning.
It's kind of like it's kind of like for me with Mexico as well.
Yes.
With Cameroon, that's like
Switzerland on 3, and then Cameroon's 1 each.
But for me, it's kind of like I know it's not sad because it's how it works, but like to me, it's kind of sad that like Cameroon did so good against Switzerland, only lost with 1 goal. And now they go out and score 3 goals against Serbia, but like I just can't see them beating Brazil.
That is why I'm saying most of these games, but these World Cup games, you go out and you win your first freaking match of your group game, because that gives you some sort of foundation, something to build on. So even if you draw the next match, you still got 4 points, and 4 points is enough. So that last match, even if you draw that last match, you can still go through. So,
well, Japan did that.
It's sad, but it's also, it's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess.
It is.
And I agree with Harry. I don't think Cameroon has a snowball chance in hell against Brazil. So I don't see them going through. So it's going to be the knockout between Serbia and Switzerland that's going to determine who's going to get second place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there was a South Korea 2, Ghana 3. Warren, any thoughts on this?
Yes, what a comeback from Ghana. I know somebody in the group said Ghana. Where are somebody there? Ghana or something?
Ghana were 2-0 up, to say. Ghana were 2-0 up, and then South Korea pulled back 2 goals in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's shocking. That's shocking. And the fact that they came back and won, I don't know if it was in injury time or when they scored the last goal, but Ghana, this game was just so impressive to watch. It was just a thriller. It was almost like the first match of Portugal, where it was that back and forth between Ghana and Portugal, but the reverse this time around, where Ghana was now like on top. And it was a must-win for them after they lost to Portugal. So And I think they level on points now, aren't they? These two teams? They should be. Because South Korea won their first match, and then Ghana also won. I think
South Korea got
Ghana have 3
Ghana
points.
12.
Ghana have 3 points. They beat Uruguay.
Yes, there we go. So it's 2-3. They've got 3 points, but doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just think
South
that
Korea. Yeah, because
I
Ghana
just
won,
think
so Ghana have 3 points. And South Korea
So-
then have 1, and Uruguay have 1. Portugal are on
Yeah.
6.
yeah. So I think it's gonna again because it's gonna come down to the final matches again, and people say this was the group of death, and it's just so weird how things are lining up. Each group is going to come down to the last matches, and there's only 2 teams that's currently automatically out already. So it's just shocking. It's the most openest World Cup I've ever seen. But like I'm proud for Ghana because I'm African. So I mean, obviously it's going to put a little ring in my heart to see them get that. It's just now get it over the line with your last match, and they might be the only African with. All right, we've got Morocco as well to go through to the final 16. So it's going to be
Senegal as
interesting.
well. Senegal as
Yeah.
well, I think.
Just to say, the lineups are in for England versus Wales. 4 changes made by Gareth Southgate as expected. It's Jordan Pickford in goal, Luke Shaw left back, Harry Maguire and John Stones at the centre half partnership, with Kyle Walker replacing Kieran Trippier at right back. There's been a change in midfield with Jordan Henderson replacing Mason Mount. So it's Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, and Jordan Henderson as a flat 3 in midfield. So they've gone a little bit more defensive.
Yeah.
Not what we want.
I'm thinking,
but,
hold
and
on,
then
hold
up
on.
front, Marcus Rashford and Phil Foden come in for Sterling and Bukayo Saka. So it's Rashford, Kane, and Phil Foden up front. Finally, Phil Foden gets a game. We've been crying out for Phil Foden to play.
Oh my God.
Then Wales have Danny Ward in goal. Neco Williams, Chris Mepham, Rodon, and Ben Davies at left back. Aaron Ramsey, Ethan Ampadu, and Joe Allen are the midfield 3. And then Gareth Bale, Kiefer Moore, and Dan James as the front 3. That's going to be an interesting one.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Apart from Jordan Henderson, it sounds like a very attacking England side, with very much players in form. I don't know why Jordan Henderson's coming in for Mason Mount. I would have preferred to see someone else, but I think we're lacking options in that midfield at the moment. Unfortunately, and Mason Mount has not had a great game.
I would have put Madison in.
Yeah, I'd have had Madison and then put Phil Foden in the 10.
Yeah, but thank you for that, Harry. Thank you.
problem.
I need to go change my team. I need to take Trippier out and put somebody else, you know. That's the nice thing about the fantasy of the World Cup. You can do it during the game week, so I can come and change things now. Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. Then the game last night, Brazil 1-0 Switzerland. Casemiro scored. It was despite the attacking threat that Brazil have, it was a very lackluster game. Didn't really do a whole lot. They struggled at times to break Switzerland down. It was much and muchness really, and they were lucky to kind of get the goal.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of thing.
I definitely agree. I think it's not the Brazil that we're used to seeing. It wasn't a very flashy game, even against Switzerland. And it's weird that, somebody in the midfield is scoring. So it's just that I don't know if it's because Neymar isn't there, he's injured. But even when he was there, Richarlison got the first 2 goals. So it's weird. The people that's getting the goals in isn't the people that you would expect to get the goals in. So, it wasn't really an entertaining match to watch, to be honest. And I got lucky with the goal. I agree completely. and well, they threw, I guess, and they got the job done. But it wasn't a thriller that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think a part of the story to this is that Switzerland is really, really good against big teams. Switzerland has a history of making great teams look not so great when they play against them. So I think that's a part of the story to why Brazil did not win with more than this, because Switzerland is good and Jan Sommer is a very underrated keeper. But yeah, Brazil won, and like even with Switzerland being great, Brazil should be a team that should win with more. And I think like 3 goals in 2 games. In normal case, that will look great, but when you are talking about Brazil, everyone's favorite to win it all, it's not the best, and I think that's something they have to be a little bit worried about. That like, are they scoring enough goals compared to what you will expect from them? But at the same time, they have the ball all the time. So like, as long as they score, it doesn't really matter because the opponent barely has the ball, and when the opponent don't have the ball, they probably will not score. So I think Brazil is doing a pretty good job so far, but I will be a little bit worried with not scoring enough goals.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue going forward. Maybe they need to look at changing the forward line. Rafinha, Vinny Jr. and Richarlison is not the most exciting front line. Vinny Jr. definitely should be in there, but maybe Rafinha and Richarlison need to be taken out, and I think they will make changes for the final game because they are qualified already now. So I think it'll be interesting to see the likes of Jesus come in, Rodrigo, Martinelli, Antony, see how they do and put a case forward for the last 16 game.
But it is a Brazil team that has not conceded any goals, so that is a big part of the story.
Yeah, that's true. But they've only scored 3 goals in 2 matches. You would have not expected that.
Exactly.
And then the big game last night was Portugal 2-0 against Uruguay. Uruguay have yet to score a goal in this tournament, which is not something anybody thought we would be saying. Considering the attacking talent they have at their disposal, like Suarez, Nunes, Cavani, Pelistri, they have some very good players. Obviously a controversial game as well, with Ronaldo scored. Despite not getting touching it, I'm not quite sure how he thought he'd scored, but the goal was eventually awarded to Bruno Fernandes, and it was kind of proven afterwards, even by Adidas saying that he didn't get a touch in it through measuring the ball or something. I don't know how the hell it works. It's also fucking complicated, to be honest. Like, all you needed to do was just freeze frame and you'd see, but and his buddy Piers Morgan, of course, is defending him on the line. But anyway, the game itself, a big win for Portugal to send them through to the last 16. They're playing really well at the moment.
Yes.
Maybe a surprise that Uruguay didn't really come close. They had a couple of chances, but nothing really concrete. I'm not sure if they even really troubled the keeper, to be honest. I don't think they did. The big question I have is why Dalot isn't starting at right back. I don't know what he has to do to start and even
I'm not
play.
Sure.
I think he should be at right back, Cancelo left back, especially when they've had injuries. But I don't know. But anyway, Warren, any thoughts on this game?
Yes. Portugal is playing really well, and I'm happy about it because they're my team that I got for the figure that we do for the team that we think we're gonna win. So that's my team. I had to fight tooth and nail against this for Portugal, and I got it. So happy to see that they are delivering. I'm really upset about Uruguay because they're my second favorite team, but like it took them this game to get their first shot on target, and they haven't, like you said, they haven't scored. They haven't won any games. They drew one, and they are at 1 point. Shocking to see Uruguay so low on the group table. But happy for Portugal. I found the Ronaldo and Fernandes thing really comical. To be honest, I think Bruno Fernandes is a very underrated player, and he doesn't get enough credit for what he does in games. So happy to see him actually on the scoreboard, not once but twice, with the penalty as well. And the funny thing is, had Ronaldo not gone off, Ronaldo probably would have taken the penalty. So that's also ironic. So yeah, I think it was a decent game for Portugal. Business as usual. Uruguay, a lot of questions to answer because so many stars, so little display of talent, I guess.
Yeah,
Andreas?
yeah. I think with the Fernandes goal that Ronaldo wanted to be his. I think first of all, what a great goal by Fernandes. Like if you just remove the entire Ronaldo part in it,
Yeah.
what a great goal. Like that's a really great goal. And also like I think it's a pretty fun conversation to have, and I have not seen if anyone think Ronaldo scored or not, but like with this World Cup, the ball has a chip in it, so the ball knows who scored. Like the ball can feel who made the goal, and it can see if it's outside, so if it's corners and like all this kind of stuff, because there's a chip in the ball. So like there's not even a debate about it. Like Fernandes scored, the ball decided that, and there's not really any argument about that. So yeah, just a really great goal by him, and yeah, I agree with Warren. He's an underrated player, but I get that there has been a lot of drama with him in United squad. So I assume that's a part of maybe some arguments about him. But he is a really on the pitch. He's a really great player. And yeah, with like Portugal has really surprised me about how great they are. Portugal is usually not the greatest team in the World Cups. Like they have some problems sometimes, but right now it's looking really good. And Uruguay, on the other hand, it's difficult because like Uruguay is just such a great team normally, but it's not clicking. And like Uruguay is always known for being like rough on the pitch and being very defensive and aggressive in their nature. But it's just a problem when you don't have anyone that scores the goals. Like it's okay to be defensive, but when no one scores the goals, it's kind of a problem. So yeah, not looking good for them at the moment, but they can still move on. Assuming Portugal beats South Korea, Uruguay just have to beat Ghana just. But yeah, a win against Ghana will be enough for Uruguay to move on. So yeah, like, and that's the thing with all these groups, that you have a team with only 1 point, like Uruguay. They lost, they draw, and they still have a chance to move on. And that's the crazy thing with so many of these groups. So yeah.
And then we move on to today and the final round of group fixtures in Group A, which saw Ecuador lose 2-1 to Senegal, which sees Senegal through in second place, and the Netherlands beat Qatar 2-0. Maybe from the Netherlands, a little bit lackluster. We haven't really seen the best of them. I think we would have expected them to win by a few more. They didn't really make any wholesale changes. Cody Gakpo got his third goal in 3 games. I hope somebody's put him in their fantasy team.
I was gonna do that.
I tried to, but I literally made the transfer at like 3:00 on the dot, and so it wouldn't let me. I did put Frankie de Jong in though, and he scored for me. So.
Oh my god! I was thinking of it the whole time this morning, like put him in, and then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna roll and see what happens. And damn it! And then I've got Virgil van Dijk in my team, so I got the 6 points for the clean sheet. So yeah.
Maybe a little bit lackluster there, and Senegal, Ecuador, interesting result. I think it could have gone either way there. Warren, quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm happy Senegal is through, so we might see Mane. But hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, happy Senegal gets through, but they might face England now in the next group. in the
Yeah,
final
Senegal
16.
will face England if
Yeah.
England win tonight.
If England wins tonight, and then I'm not surprised Netherlands won because of the what happened in the last match. So they also had like a point to prove, but it's against Qatar. So I mean, like, what did you expect? I mean, I didn't expect them to lose. I expected them to win. I think I predicted 2-0 in the prediction as well. So I'm more happy about the Senegal result.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. And,
quickly. Yeah, quickly. Netherlands, it's not looking the greatest. Like, of course they are winning this. There's no shock in that, but like they are not doing the greatest in the offense. I think there are some problems there, and the crazy thing is that I'm confident they will get to last 8 because they will probably face Iran or USA in the next round.
or
But
Wales.
like, yeah,
Oh,
a
well.
lot have to happen then. A lot have to happen for them to face Wales. Wales only have 1 point, so that would be shocking. But yeah, like Netherlands is probably going to last 8, and to me that's crazy because if you had said, oh, they're facing Croatia or Spain, I don't know what, like I will not be confident that Netherlands will win. But because they will have this probably easy opponent, they will probably move on. But yeah, it's not looking the greatest right now, and I don't see Netherlands winning at all. And with the other one, Ecuador and Senegal, this was to me one of the most exciting matches for this round because like there's good arguments for both of them moving on, and that's the fun part with this, that like it's whoever wins moves on, and that's just so fun when you have matches like that, when it's these two teams actually against each other with the winner move on. And yeah, Senegal was the best, and I expected that. But it was close, and Ecuador is a team I really, after this World Cup, have seen how great they actually are. I did not expect Ecuador to do anything great before this World Cup started, but they have really showed me that they are really, really good. And yeah, Senegal moving on. I think it's getting tough now, but if Mané comes back and they are facing England, anything is possible. But with the team they have right now, I don't think Senegal will move on. But maybe when Mané can make a big difference.
Fair enough. We will move on to having a quick preview of the games to come over the next couple of days, starting with Iran, USA, and Wales, England tonight. I think we should be expecting an England win, to be honest, against Wales. And Iran, I think Iran versus USA will be interesting. Given the fact Iran beat Wales, maybe they can pull off a shock. You would bank the USA to win, but you just never know. Andreas?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, sorry, Warren.
No, it's fine. I just said I agree with everything you said, so that's my thoughts.
yeah, same. Like it's going to be really close, but I have USA winning, but it's really close. And again, a match where it's like winner moves on, and those matches are just fun.
Yeah, just say Wales need to beat England and hope that Iran and USA draw to progress or win by 4 goals.
Which I don't see happening. Okay, moving on.
Then tomorrow afternoon, we see the conclusion of Group D with Tunisia against France, Australia versus Denmark. France will likely make changes and rest players, but should probably still have enough to get past Tunisia, you would imagine. And it's a big game for Denmark. Denmark have to win to progress.
Yes.
You would bank them against Australia, but they've not played well this tournament so far.
Yeah,
they should get the job done.
Yeah, like that's the question about this. Like, is this Denmark as we usually play? Then we are moving on. Like, there's no doubt. Like, if we play like we can play, we should win with at least 3 goals, honestly. But if we play like we have been playing against Tunisia and France, then I'm not confident. But like, I'm going with Denmark.
You're backing your team.
But like, okay, if we compare to other matches, like France beat Australia 4-1, they only beat us with 1 goal. Like, there's nothing that makes me do it. But yeah, right now it's not looking the greatest, but Australia is not looking the greatest either. So yeah,
Australia just need a draw to progress.
yeah, they have the better. I don't see it. But everything
I can see a draw happening, and I don't know. I think a draw can happen, depending on who France puts in the team.
But do you think that Australia have the like do you believe that they have the defensive team to beat us, or what? Like, what makes you believe that it can happen?
Anything can happen in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Tunisia can win 10-0 against France. Like, anything can happen. But like, what's like the logical
if
reason?
Japan can beat Germany, anything can happen.
Anything. But
I'm just
like,
saying,
is there a logical reason for you thinking that? Like, I want to understand what do we think Australia can do that can make them win this? Like, what's their chance? Like, what's their, how can you say it? Their talent.
They took the lead against France.
They what?
They took the lead against France.
True. Yeah. So if they can get a fast goal, yeah.
And I'm worried about the stale, oldish, aging flatness of Denmark. It could be the undoing.
Yeah.
Denmark haven't really looked like they're going to do
firing
much.
on all cylinders. Yeah, they just look flat-footed, very leggy, very lethargic at times. So for me, it's just something needs to be. It's just not. It's lacking spice. It's like eating something that's supposed to be spicy, but it's just not. It's just flat. It's stale. It's just there's no flavor.
Yeah, and I agree. I think a lot of that comes down to the offense. Like, there is not, we don't have a striker that can score. Cornelius is not good enough for that. Skov Olsen is injured. He's a big part of the creative. I don't know if he will be back for this match, maybe, but like, yeah, agreed. Offensively, there are some problems, and therefore, I don't see Australia beating us. I don't think they can score more goals than us, but if we can score the goals, then it will clearly be a draw, and I think that's the worrying part.
I can see a 0-0 draw. I can actually see that. Denmark don't look attackingly solid. They look defensively solid, but going forward.
And if Australia gets lucky and they get a goal in, you could be in trouble.
I think if it's a draw, I think it's going to be 0-0, yeah, because defensively we are stronger than we are offensively.
I can honestly see that this could end up as one of those games with a very, very late game-changing goal at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those 0-0 games that's going to drag, and then at the end, there's going to be that one goal that decides it.
Yeah. Anyway,
and even then, Australia just needs a draw to go through. So
yeah, they do.
So I think Denmark is in a very bad.
They will sit back and make it difficult for Denmark.
Yeah, and I think Denmark is out of all the teams in that group, they're in the worst spot.
Yeah. Well, them and Tunisia.
Tunisia.
Them and Tunisia, yeah, to be fair. But they're fighting for second place, so I mean,
yeah, I think the question is like I agree, like Australia will have it easier, but the question is, can Australia do that? Can they for 90 minutes keep it? Probably more. Can they keep that not conceding any goals? It was difficult against France. It was not difficult against Tunisia, but Tunisia has not scored a goal, so that makes sense. But like can Australia keep us from not scoring in 90 minutes? That's the question. That's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah,
we shall see what happens.
We will.
Tomorrow night sees the conclusion of Group C as Poland play Argentina and Saudi Arabia play Mexico. This group is still wide open. All 4 teams can still qualify. Mexico need to beat Saudi Arabia to qualify. If results don't go Argentina's way, they could be knocked out tomorrow as well. Argentina need to at least draw against Poland, you would imagine, to be safe. Because, yeah, unless Saudi, they need to win to be secure of a spot, but a draw would be, given the goal difference, would probably be enough to see them through. Saudi Arabia are on -1, Mexico are on -2, Argentina have 1. So Saudi Arabia would need to beat Mexico 2-0, or Mexico would need to win 3-0. You would imagine Argentina should get the job done against Poland. Poland will be looking to try and keep their hopes alive too, though. So it's going to be I think that will be an interesting clash. Saudi Arabia versus Mexico. Can Saudi Arabia do something and secure their place in the knockouts? It's wide open and anything can happen in this group. Warren, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm fearful for Mexico, to be honest. I'm fearful for them because Saudi Arabia has shown that they can do some damage team. So, they're the one team that I'm most worried about in that group. To be honest with you, that's my thoughts. What about you, Andreas?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think Argentina is winning, but I don't think it's a given. Poland is a strong team, but yeah, I have Argentina. I really think that the first one was really like, okay, we need to get it together, and it was the same in comparison to Spain in 2010. They lost to Switzerland, a match where everyone expected them to win. They lost. And then they won every other match since that and won the World Cup. And I think that's the story of Argentina. They really realized, okay, we need to do better. And so, yeah, I think they have realized that now and will beat Poland. But Poland is a strong team as well. And I don't think Poland will move on if they don't win this. I think that would be difficult. So yeah, and with Saudi Arabia, Mexico, this can go either way. Like, it can be a draw. It can be Mexico winning. I think I would say Mexico is the stronger team, but Saudi Arabia have shown that they can really surprise Mexico without scoring goals so far in this tournament. So yeah, everything happened with that one.
Fair enough. Then on Thursday afternoon, we have Croatia against Belgium in what will be pretty much a knockout game, and Canada against Morocco. I don't think there's a way really for both Croatia and Belgium to progress in this one. It would need Canada to beat Morocco and for Belgium to win against Croatia. So Belgium would have to beat Croatia and Canada beat Morocco in order for both Belgium and Croatia to go through, which is probably unlikely. I think Morocco, are going to shock people and go through to the last 16, where they will likely play Spain. They'll play the winner of Group E. Yes, so they'll play Spain most likely if Spain win their group. And then Belgium, Croatia, anyone, it could go either way. And pretty much a knockout game, whoever wins goes through.
Yeah, I think if I can quickly talk about that one, I think every logical thing will right now say Croatia is winning because they have done better in the other matches. But yeah, like it can go either way, and like I will say I think Belgium has the stronger team. Croatia have performed better, so it comes down to whatever you want to depend on. I'm going with Belgium. I think Belgium is still strong enough and still have the mentality to be like, okay, we need to get it together. And I think they still have the team to win. I think Croatia is still too dependent on Modric for them to really do a lot if Belgium's whole squad gets it together. So I'm going with Belgium, but it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, Warren? I don't know. I think Warren's frozen there on us.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
We can see you and hear you.
Am I still frozen?
No, we can hear you.
I was on the other app, sorry, because I'm running out of time and I needed to make changes to my team. I'm sorry, so I got a little bit distracted. I do apologize for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're talking about Belgium, right?
Yeah.
Belgium and Croatia, yeah.
And then obviously Morocco against Canada.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that Morocco has Belgium's fate in their hands, so to say. Because whatever Morocco does in their game is going to affect what needs to happen in the other game. So unless Canada beats Morocco, Belgium, they need to win. First of all, they need to win against Croatia, which I don't think is going to be an easy task. And I don't see Morocco, even though I think they already qualified to go through. I don't think they will lose against Canada. I don't see it happening at all. So yeah, I think pretty much it's going to come down to Belgium versus Croatia. And Croatia could actually do an upset and beat them. And that will be shocking. But that's the name of the game, I guess. And it's going to be exciting. I'm actually excited for this group.
Yeah. And then we have Japan, Spain, and Costa Rica, Germany in Group E, which should be interesting. As we know, this group is wide open still. Spain currently on 4 points, Japan and Costa Rica on 3 each, with Germany on 1. Yeah, this could go any way, any which way. All 4 teams can still qualify.
Yes.
You'd imagine Spain should beat Japan and qualify. You would expect
Germany,
Costa Rica, but you've said, Warren, we just don't know.
We don't know. It's so up in the air, and especially with this particular group, it's so up in the air because these were the surprising teams at the early start of the campaign. So this is going to actually be also one of those. Actually, all of them. All these matches are interesting. It's so freaking fascinating, and the anticipation is driving me crazy that you have to wait 4 days to see what's going to happen. But like, yeah, let's see what. I don't really have an opinion, to be honest with you. I don't. I think anything can happen in this group, and whether it does happen or not, I'll still be happy with the end result because I do believe all 4 of these teams have worked their tushy off to get to where they are. So whoever wins the respective matches is going to deserve their spots in that final 16. The Germany is the odds-on favorite. People want them to go through, but it could happen that they don't, and it won't be such a bad thing. Yeah. So don't tell Dominic I said that. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'd expect Germany to win, though. To be honest, I think they should have enough.
But I think it's more possible that Costa Rica wins than it is that Japan wins. If I had to put them together, I think it's more possible Costa Rica eliminates Germany than it is that Japan eliminates Spain.
I don't see Spain losing to Japan at all.
No. And then on Friday, we have the conclusion of Group H, which sees South Korea play Portugal and Ghana versus Uruguay. Those are the early fixtures. Portugal should beat South Korea and secure top spot. Ghana versus Uruguay is going to be a winner takes all.
Yes.
You'd imagine Uruguay have yet to score a goal.
And Ghana's got 4 goals already to their names.
Yeah, it's going to be a big ask, I think, for Uruguay to qualify. I think Ghana.
But it's going to be so crazy if Uruguay beats them and still qualify, given the way that they started. Mm-hmm. So it is so. That's why I'm saying this whole campaign is super duper crazy. It's the weirdest World Cup. I'm just going along for the ride. And I'm enjoying it. I've never actually enjoyed the World Cup as much as I'm enjoying this one. I'm actually watching most of the games and normally I don't. And this is for me, it's been so interesting. I didn't follow the last World Cup so, meticulously like this one. And it's because of the storylines happening in between. Not just the goals and the teams winning, because there's been some upsets and nosebleeds and, shocking moments, and my jaw has dropped many times than in the Premier League. So this is going to be such a thrilling end to this group stage, and it's gonna make the run to the end so much more exciting.
Andreas?
Yeah, I first of all, I'm going a little bit bold and say that South Korea will get a draw against Portugal. I think I think Portugal, like with a draw, Portugal will still get first place.
Yeah.
So I don't think Portugal will come with their strongest team. And I think South Korea is really, really strong, and I think they've showed that. So I think they can make a draw. But yeah, Portugal will clearly be favorites. And I think Uruguay is going to win, but that's also going to be really close. I don't know. I just think Uruguay still have more in them than they have showed so far.
I want Uruguay to win. I so want them to win. I don't know. I think that they're the one team that I want to see go through.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad if they go out. I'm gonna cry, honestly. Yeah.
Ghana would just need a draw to be sure of qualification.
And yeah, that's the interesting part, because like Ghana has been really good so far, but at the same time they lost to a big team like Portugal. So can Uruguay find their big mentality that they have showed in the past, and can that be enough to win? I think that's going to be really, really interesting. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then the final Group G fixtures on Friday night, most likely to be after our podcast on Friday, is Serbia versus Switzerland, which we now know is probably going to be a winner takes all clash for second place. And then Cameroon versus Brazil. Brazil should win this one comfortably. Hopefully there will be a few changes. Some guys will stick their hand up and show why they should be picked for the round of last 16 game. And then Serbia versus Switzerland could go either way. I could see it being a very dull 0-0 draw, to be honest. But I think Mitrovic will probably have something to say about that.
I think Serbia has got the edge a little bit. I think so. Just a tiny bit of an edge going into this one. But I could see a draw as well happening there with those two.
Yes. Which Switzerland just need a draw.
Yeah.
Do just need a draw.
But I don't think Mitrovic is gonna want the draw. So I think he's gonna go full blown now that he's got his first taste of the World Cup goal now of this campaign. So I think watch out, Mitrovic is back.
Yeah, I think that's really spot on. I think that's the story, because like Switzerland and Serbia so far, I think Switzerland has been the better team in both matches they have been in so far. But Mitrovic don't want that. Like, he wants to move on, and I think he will be the one to save Serbia if they can move on. So yeah,
I also think so. I do agree.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We will move on now to our predictions game. We weren't here last week, but we all made predictions nonetheless. Let me get them up.
Can we just skip this part?
I know, it's so hard, isn't it?
It's freaking difficult.
Yeah, so at the moment the leaderboard stands as such. Me on 4 points, Andreas on 3, Richard and Warren on 1 each, and Abu on none. So the predictions last week were for Abu, Japan to beat Costa Rica. That didn't happen. And France to beat Denmark with a goal difference of +2. That did not happen. Mine were England to beat Wales, which we're still waiting on to happen tonight. And Spain to beat Germany. That did not happen. Andreas said Saudi Arabia to beat Poland. That did not happen. And Denmark to beat France. Wishful thinking. Richard also said Denmark, France, and Brazil to beat Switzerland.
So he got a point there.
Yeah, he got a point. So he moves on to 2 points, I think. Yeah. Let me just double check. I think he got a point. Yeah, he did. He moves up to 2 points. So that's Richard on 2 and then Warren on 1.
What was my predictions? I can't remember.
Warren's predictions were Canada to beat Croatia by at least a goal. and Brazil to beat Switzerland by +2, which did not happen.
Yeah.
What? I'm not gonna do anything about goal difference anymore. Screw that. Because I think that's the thing that screws me. So screw the +2, -3, whatever. Screw that.
So this week is the final week of the group stages. So this is the last week of this round, and it all goes down to the wire for the big one. For the end, the winner at the end of this week will be the winner, and we'll decide the punishment for the last placed person.
Oh shit.
They're okay for the moment. Abu hasn't got any, so.
Well, this match, this one is the decider.
So yeah. Who wants to go first for this round? Let's go through Richard's one. Actually,
Yeah.
he has said Argentina and France to both win. 1 point each, I think. Pretty much.
Yes,
Let me
definitely.
see the fixtures.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
1-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Warren, do you want to go next?
I'm gonna do a bold one first.
Okay.
Oh dear God, this is so hard. But I'm gonna go bold one. I'm gonna say Saudi Arabia will beat Mexico.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and let me see. Let me just look at the other fixture. This is so difficult. This is so difficult.
It is.
It's fucking difficult. Let's see. Fudge. This is difficult.
You're writing
Uruguay
them
to-
down, Harry.
Uruguay to beat Ghana. That's my 2.
I think they both deserve 3 points, to be honest.
I'm going balls to the wall.
The first one for sure.
Go big or go home. You need it, to be fair.
I-
To win.
Yeah. I can agree on 3 points. I think that's
Okay.
that's fair for this. Yeah.
Andreas,
we
do you
give-
want to do yours?
Denmark is winning by at least 2 goals.
Okay.
I gotta go bold here as well. Like,
You could probably go with 2 safe and probably still be in with a chance of winning.
What?
But,
Yeah,
everyone
because you've got 3
seems to
points.
me.
So if you get 2 points, you're still fine.
yeah.
Well, he'd be tied with me, and then if I get any points,
You-
depending on if England win tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't care about winning. I just don't want to lose like that. That's what this is all about. It's not
It
about,
doesn't matter.
it's about not losing.
And what's your second one then, Andreas?
Yeah. Did anyone say Argentina to beat Poland? Yeah, Richard said that. Yeah, I don't want to do what he said then. I'm saying Belgium to beat Croatia.
Okay. 3 points for both, Warren, or
What was the first
1
one?
point? Denmark to win by
I'm
at
gonna-
least 2.
I'll say the Denmark one's 3 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Can we
fair.
give 2? Can we give 2 points to the other one?
That's 3-1 or 3.
Shit.
I can see it from both ways, so I think 1 point. I don't think it's necessary. I think 1 point based on the rankings and stuff.
I'm gonna say 3 for the Denmark one, 1 for the other one.
That's fair.
You'll be good
Yeah,
either way.
okay.
So
Yeah. Watch me get 0 points.
I'm going to say Australia to get a 0-0 draw with Denmark,
fair enough.
and then I will say Morocco to beat
Morocco to beat Canada. I got that part.
Yeah. Say yeah.
He sounded,
say it
he,
again.
he sounded like a robot
Yeah, he did.
for me.
I think he is.
He's frozen. I think he's
yeah.
frozen.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what
shit.
was it again? Morocco.
He said
Give me a
he said it will
second.
be a 0-0
Okay,
draw for. He said a 0-0 draw for Australia and Denmark, and then he said Morocco to beat
Okay, I'm back.
Canada.
Yeah, Morocco to beat Canada and Australia to get a 0-0 draw with Denmark.
I'm gonna say
Morocco's-
one for Morocco, one for
Yeah.
Morocco, 3 for the draw.
I think that's okay. Yeah.
Fair
Happy?
enough. I think so. And I think that is done.
I love that none of us is trying to go after specific players. Like we don't
No,
try that
I'm
at
not
all
gonna. I'm
anymore.
not doing that.
Too
I'm
hard.
not doing that.
It's too hard. It really is too hard.
It is
isn't it?
hard, and I'm not even doing goal difference because that's also. And we're only waiting for Abdus's predictions.
Yeah.
So
If
just to be
Abdus
fair,
makes them-
he can't make any predictions, obviously, on games that already passed. That's in this thing. Just to be fair, because he's late.
Yeah. So he has to tomorrow before the match starts. And if he don't do it by then, I think he can sit this round out.
Yeah,
I
fair
think-
Which
enough.
means he would be by default last place.
Yeah.
Will
Which
he?
means
Will
he's
he?
getting the punishment regardless.
Yes, it will be because you don't get minuses. So nobody else can fall to 0. And if he doesn't get his predictions
how
in,
many points does he have right now?
he's got 0.
0.
And everyone else
So
has a point.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so then
So if he doesn't
It's
do
on
it,
his
if he
own
doesn't do his predictions by tomorrow, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I think it's you guys' time, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then he has to. He will automatically be at the mercy of whoever wins the thing. Dear God,
sorry.
please let me get 6 points. Dear God, please let me get 6 points.
But the
Please let
fun
me get
part
6
is
points.
the one that wins because whoever wins can decide
The
decide
punishment.
So I think that
Okay.
is just done. We will be
Yes.
back on Friday when we will know pretty much the round of 16 fixtures
Yes.
and be able to look forward to those. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you to the guys for being here. We'll
Yes.
see you Friday. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup group stages. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right.